Hello, hello, everybody.
Me.
Give people a minute to get here, but I'm so happy to see you all. Hi, Christine. I hope you can hear me. Melinda, Kim. I'm excited to spend the hour with you all, and a little bit longer, I guess I should say. I see someone's having trouble connecting. See what happens. Hi,
Yay.
Christine. Can we hear you?
Hey,
Oh, we can. Yes, I can hear you.
I don't know what I did, but I'm not touching anything.
Technology is not something I can help you with. Not at all. So I'm just going to give like one more minute and then we're just really going to jump right into it. I can tell I don't see a name on the other person, so I don't know who's trying to connect to audio and having trouble. But I would say if you can hear, oh, they can't hear me. Hmm, this might be better. Let's see the message. So some of you know each other, some of you don't, but I just want to say a nice big hello to Kim, Melinda, Christine, and this other person on Zoom that can't connect to audio. Hopefully you will see my message. I think it might help if you leave the Zoom and then come back in. Sometimes that just fixes everything without us knowing why or how. But I want to thank you all for joining me today for this class, The Intuitive Edge, Activate Your Intuition Advantage for Next Level Business Success. And we are a small group. I'm expecting a few more people, and I will let them in as they come. But that being said, I want you to just feel really free to use the chat, or if you need to ask me a question, wave me down, unmute yourselves, and just feel free to make this even a bit of a conversation and not just a class. Because if you're wondering about something, someone else always is too. And it really always helps. It does, doesn't it? Yeah. Thank you, Kim. Thank you, Melinda. So most of you know me, but for the one person that we can't figure out who you are because you can't connect yet, I'm Kim Conway, and I'm happy to meet you today. And I help entrepreneurs activate a much deeper connection to their intuitive abilities and strengthen your ability to access information that's beyond logic and strategy. And this will help you create expansive beliefs, feeling completely in sync with yourself, operate your business in full alignment so that success flows effortlessly for you. And I do that with people through intuitive development and teachings, coaching, energy work, and intuitive readings. And a little bit later at the end, I will be doing some readings for all of you. And I know a couple of you have an appointment right after, so I will probably start with you to just help you be able to get there too. Yeah. Um, oh, thank you. Thank you. I feel bad. I don't know how to help this person connect to audio. Hmm. I don't know. Not sure how to do it. I wish I did. All right. All right. So if anyone else knows how to do that, flag me down.
We all know I'm not the one.
You're not the one? I don't know, Christine. I think you're much more of a genius with technology than you give yourself credit for.
I'm
But
always the first to be surprised that it works.
anyway, so all right, so we're going to just jump right into it. And I know that you're here because you really just want to gain access in a deeper way to your intuition, to your inner knowing, to those gut reactions and knowings that are happening for you so that you can use this, maybe just personally for yourself, but really also for your business. And the best place to start is really help you understand what is intuition and what is intuitive abilities and understand the difference between them. Because what I'm really finding in my work is that people mistake the intuitive abilities for their intuition. And all of this inner knowing that you have and that you connect to, hi Deb, is really on a spectrum where it starts small and it can go greater and greater and greater, meaning you can gain more and more access to deeper information and actually intentionally do it. So, how do you define intuition when I say that word? What does that mean to you? Anyone can feel free to speak. So, Kim is saying inner knowing. Inner knowing is intuition. Yes, Kim.
Okay,
Yes.
I just
Mhm.
misunderstood. I was like, what? Okay,
Yeah.
that makes
Yeah.
a lot more sense. What was
Yeah.
your question? I'm sorry.
What does, when I say the word intuition, what does it mean to you?
Oh, it's that feeling you get of knowing that
Mhm.
sometimes we're like, oh, it'll be okay. Then we dismiss it. And
Yep.
really, if we take time, if I take time, I'm going to speak me, if I take time to really pay attention. And usually the time when I don't is when I don't trust myself or when I'm rushed
Hmm.
because I don't want to, okay, thank you. But yeah, it's that inner um, gut feeling. Sometimes it's in my chest. For me, that's where it shows
Okay.
up.
Yeah. Okay. So it can be, I'm going to use these little things, a feeling that you get. So a physical feeling you're describing, and a lot of people describe it that way. It can be a feeling in their chest. It can be a feeling in your stomach. It can feel sometimes it's a warmth or like a rush of heat for people. A lot of people talk about like goosebumps or chills. You'll hear people say, "Oh, I just got the chills," and they'll take that as like confirmation of whatever is happening in that moment or whatever they've just said. It definitely can be feelings in all sorts of ways, even an emotional feeling. Anything else for anyone besides a feeling? Melinda.
Do I do the philosopher one?
Yeah, I love it. Let's go.
Okay, for me, there's initially when I was connecting to my knowing. So for me, my knowing is the voice of my soul.
Mhm,
So significantly, the messages I get from my knowing are for me and about me, based on where I'm at now.
mhm,
Um, and initially it came through as energy until I started trusting it more. And then it
mhm,
just became pure words so that
mhm,
there's no interpretation.
mhm,
The other aspect to that is our solar plexus picks us up senses, energy, senses,
mhm.
intentions, etc., of other people. What a lot of people then do is come back and personalize that and they mix up the message. So our sensing as a human body will pick it up. And so it's going to your knowing and it will give you information about where another person's at. So then I have the other element where you're provided information about other people, which isn't about you. And for me, depending on what the person's sensory processing is, so whether they're visual or auditory, etc., you'll be given either words or a picture to help them understand the information based on where they're at.
Okay. So I'm so glad you just said all of that, Melinda, because you're actually showing some of the differences between intuition and further down the line of intuitive abilities and intuitive information. So I'm going to tweeze out the things you said so that everyone can really understand what you said because it was really good. So the first thing you said, it was like you call it the voice of your soul. And a lot of people will say that your intuition is just this deeper place within yourself, a loving place that's giving you information. And for you, initially, it was this knowing. So, what that could be like for all of you is just like a thought dropping in. And you don't necessarily believe you thought it. You know, it's almost like it just came out of the blue and you're not sure how that happened. So, intuition being a feeling, a knowing, this beautiful definition, the voice of the soul. And it's this fleeting piece of information. It's a little bit more like a droplet. And then you have to interpret really what it means, right? So, the voice of soul, feeling and knowing. And it's a beautiful thing that everybody has. We just don't all call it intuition, right? Sometimes we just say, oh, I just know I have to do this. And we're not like connecting that to intuition or making a big deal about it. We're just going about our day and doing the thing, right? You might leave to go somewhere, to leave your house, and you just have a feeling I forgot something, right? And you don't have to get philosophical about it, but basically that's your intuition. Anytime you're getting a piece of information that seemingly comes out of nowhere, whether you feel it or know it, that's your intuition. And it basically, intuition will kind of stop with those first little pieces of information. But if we move a little further down into, like, if you imagine like a spectrum, right? The information, the knowledge getting greater and greater. Now you can get a little more information. So when Melinda said, oh, first it was just this thought, then the words came, and she kind of went on from there, describing all of that. So intuitive is getting more information, but instead of it just happening randomly, where you don't feel like you have control, it's like all of a sudden you knew something, or all of a sudden you felt something. With intuitive, you're intentionally getting curious and looking for information. And you're looking for it from within yourself. You're not researching it on Google, ChatGPT, talking to a friend for advice, talking to your coach, right? You're going inside yourself. And that can get a little murky for people, a little confusing. They don't know how to do it, or they're not even aware that they already have their own natural process of doing it. Okay, let's see. Oh, okay, thank you. We just don't know your name, Zoom user. We're just going to call you Zoom user till we have your name, but that's perfectly fine. I'm glad that you are listening. Um, thank you. So it's going further down. And what I'm so passionate in my work is that everybody, well, we all have that feeling, that knowing, but everybody can learn how to go in deeper and get more information. So it's a little bit like if you stood outside and you know when it's just starting to drizzle, and if all of us were outside together right now, and it was just starting to drizzle, some of us would feel a drop, some of us wouldn't, because it's just starting, it's barely raining, right? That's your intuition. It's just randomly hitting you when it does. But if we waited for the storm to come, and all of a sudden it's a downpour, and each one of us is soaking wet, that is you learning how to intentionally go inside of yourself to receive a depth of information. And you can get curious about anything. And you can get curious about yourself, your own life. Maybe as an entrepreneur, you want to feel confident about a choice that you're making. Maybe you want to know, what's my best next step in my business, or the best next thing for me to do to help my client? Okay? Maybe you want to learn how to do it, to use it as another piece of your business strategy, to use it as a skill set. Maybe you want to just have a competitive edge over someone else who does the same work as you. And you want to have this little golden nugget of something that you can do to give people more information that they can't access for themselves or that they don't know how to do it. It can be for any reason. You want to strengthen your trust. You want to have more clear perception of things. You want to get beyond the surface, read between the lines. How many of you have ever been with a client and you just have this little feeling they're not telling me the whole picture right now? They're leaving something out really important that if they would just tell me what it was, I could really help them in this moment. Raise your hand, right? Guess what I do when that happens? I use my intuitive abilities and I go in and figure out what that is. And I don't do these things without permission. I just want to say I do it ethically. No one's going to show me unless they're feeling safe and they want to show me. But that's for like another day, getting into the ethics behind that. Melinda, maybe later if we have, hold on to your question, write it down. All right. Because it is, I know it's an important one and has to do with that. Maybe you want to make precise aligned decisions effortlessly. That would be another reason that you want these deeper abilities where you can intentionally go in and access information. Just like you can put a question on ChatGPT and they're going to spit out a bunch of information. You can learn to do that for yourself. You can eliminate your second guessing and just know what's right. You can learn how to trust it. And sometimes what you get, the droplet from your intuition, that first knowing, sometimes that's all you need, right? And you can go off and running with it. But sometimes you need more because we're really programmed to listen to logic, to listen to reason. We're also programmed, do it if it's safe. Don't take a risk. You're going to get in trouble. And with that droplet, it's hard to combat those feelings and those patterns in our own behavior. And we can't help it. It's really just how humanity operates, right? It's what you've been taught since you were young. And as an entrepreneur, if you really want to be a standout, if you really want that next level of success, if you really want to be able to know what your client needs, then having this ability is what is going to help you get there, because you're going to have to take risks, right? How many of you have felt like I have to take a risk and you had to process that, right? Or you were a little scared and you didn't do it. And then it was like the what if, right? All these things we have to do as an entrepreneur. And what's so beautiful about each and every one of you is as you made that decision to become an entrepreneur, you stepped on this path of helping yourself remove the doubt, believe in yourself, take the risk, and do the thing so that you can have this success, not just for yourselves. You're each doing it for the people that you help. And how it benefits you is the secondary benefit, because that's how your hearts are. So I hope that that gives you a little, anyone have questions really? Because I know it's vague, and as we go through today, it's going to get less and less vague about the difference between your intuition and really intentionally going in for more information. We're all kind of good right now? Okay, excellent, excellent. So Kim says, yes, listening to fear, right? It's so easy to listen to fear. So easy. It's so easy not to take a risk and be safe. How many of you had a full-time job doing something else where someone else paid you and you took the risk and left it to start your entrepreneurship, right? Every single one of us is raising our hands. You did that based on something that told you it's time to do it and that you must do it. So if you took this huge risk of leaving a paycheck and security because of this passion that you developed of the work that you want to do, it means you can learn to do it again and that you can do it again for yourselves. Yeah. So one of the things that I was really curious about is when, you know, we look out in the world and we see all these billionaires and millionaires. And I was like, how did they get there? Like, what's making them a little different than the person that doesn't get there? Definitely one of the things is taking risks, right? We've heard about a lot of people talk about that. So I want to give you just like a few little examples of these billionaires doing something based on their intuition and even deeper intuitive abilities and how that catapulted their success. And I just want you to remember it as you keep moving forward in your business, making decisions. Should I do this? Am I ready to do this? Can I do that? And see what comes to you from inside yourself. So Oprah Winfrey, we all know Oprah. Most everybody loves Oprah. She really attributes leaving her secure job because she followed her inner voice. She calls it her inner voice to pursue a talk show. It was driven solely by her inner voice and intuition. And that became the Oprah Winfrey Show, which we all know transformed her from just a news anchor to just a global leader and billionaire based just on that, right? Listening to that, she took the risk. She left a secure job to start a new one. Warren Buffett, another billionaire. He says he put his initial trust in his gut feeling that told him to take an initial $100,000 and invest it, and it turned into $100 million. Everyone told him not to do it, but he trusted his own instinct and he took that risk, and that set him on his way. I have a few more. I want to kind of skip over some of them and we'll get back to them later if you're interested. I just want to talk about Sarah Blakely, who is the creator of Spanx. And I don't know anyone over 40 who's not kind of a little grateful for Spanx, myself included. But she trusted herself. She trusted her gut and invested her life savings into developing the first Spanx product. Aren't we all glad that she did? And this made her the world's youngest self-made female billionaire. So she really made a mark. She really made a mark for women, she and Oprah, showing us that, you know, we can take risks, but we want to take them smartly, right? You don't want to throw everything all away. And if you move further down the spectrum from the feeling and the knowing of your intuition, from the gut reaction, and really train yourself how to go in for deeper information, it will help you make those decisions that are so important, the risky decisions in your business. Wouldn't it feel better if you had a little more information when you were making that decision? You know, raise your hand if you would love that, right? It would really help. So that is a little inspiration for you to really start thinking about whether or not you want to learn how to go in for more. And what I want to also tell you is there's no ceiling to this. So remember us standing outside in the rain. There's no roof. So the amount of that more is infinite. And as you flex this as a muscle, because that's really what it is. You learn how to get more and more and more. And the current women in my program are already seeing that happen for themselves, where they're able to tune into one another, to give readings and pull out information that they feel like they're pulling it out of their rear end. They don't know where it came from. But everyone can learn how to do this. And as the weeks are going by, it's getting easier. They're getting more and more. And they will continue to do that for the years to come if they keep flexing the muscle. I've seen that with my own self in my development. I'm very different than I was way back in the beginning. And I'm excited. I can't wait for a year from now, 2 years from now, what I will be able to do. And all of my colleagues and friends that I've gone through my development with and continue to do so, seeing that open up like a flower is just the most amazing thing. And it can be, for me, it became a little obsessive. Like I just want to think about it all day long and figure it out all day long and talk about it all day long. Deb's smiling. Can you relate to that obsession? Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So it can do so many things, like I've been saying, for you in your business, like your decision making, help you create offers, help you to identify what your client is struggling with and what they need from you, navigate you through collaborations with other people, setting goals for yourself, and figuring out risks, when to take them, how to interpret that intuitive hit, that little droplet from your intuition, because it can get really confusing. Am I getting that gut feeling because I'm supposed to, or because I'm not supposed to? How many times have you played that game with yourself, right? Was that a yes or a no? I can't tell. You know, there's a meme that I love quoting that I saw. I wish I had a picture of it. I saw it about a year ago, and it was like, how many people wait first? I asked for a sign, then I got my sign, and I'm like, no, I need a sign of your sign. And you just keep waiting for the next sign, the next sign, the next sign, the next sign, and nothing is satisfying you. It's because you're relying on the first droplet and don't know how to go in and get more so that you can get that deeper answer. And you can just feel more confident about it. And you can feel safer and you can trust, because those are important things. They really are. We all need that. We all need that. So what I would love to help you with today is to help you identify some of the things that get in the way of that deeper knowing, that deeper information. They might even get in the way with those first droplets of your intuition, because the greatest way to begin your intuitive development is to identify what's making it harder for yourself and to work on those things. It's kind of like a traffic jam, right? A bottleneck. And we got to clear it to get the traffic moving again. Because this information, it's already there. It's not like you have to create it. You don't have to do anything but learn how to receive it. You don't have to figure it out. Everything in your life you have to figure out. Everything you do. But this information is just flowing. And it's about just clearing out the pipes, learning your natural way to connect to that flow, your natural way that it does flow for you so that you can understand it. All right, so I don't know if everybody printed out the workbook, but if you didn't, that's okay. The workbook is just to make it easier. Just have a pen. Oh, you do, Kim, thank you. Just have a pen and paper, because what I'm going to do now is lead you through an exercise and put you in a little bit of a meditative state. And a meditative state brings you more connected to your inner self, right? It closes out some of the chatter that gets in our way, some of the outside stimulus. It makes you forget all of that. And once I lead you into that state, I'm going to just ask you some simple questions that are written out on your workbook. I'll say them out loud, and I'm going to give you some moments to write the answer. I don't want you overthinking. If you can try. The very first thing you either feel or know, all right? The way we were identifying your intuition, just write that. Even if it doesn't make sense to you, just write it. Even if it seems ridiculous, even if it's embarrassing, just write it. This is just for you. So you can write anything that you need to write, okay? And I'll give you a little time in between each question, then I'll state the next question. I'm going to say it out loud just to keep you connected into that meditative state, connected to my voice. All right? And this is really a powerful way to begin your journey of your intuition. And some of you will be able to take the information that you write about today and just work on it on your own, at your own pace. Go back to it anytime you want as you start becoming more aware of those feelings and knowings. And some of you will want a little help. So afterwards, I will give you some information on how I can support you through that if you would like to hear it. Okay? All right. So when we're doing this, when you're meditating, to me, the most important thing is that the body is comfortable. So you don't have to sit in any funky positions, sit in the position that's comfortable for you. All right. And make sure anything is supported that needs to be supported in your body. This way, the body doesn't distract us, because it just loves to do that, right? Especially as I get older, there's always a little ache or pain somewhere that wants to distract me. All right. Okay. Excellent. Any questions about this exercise before we begin it? We're all good? Okay, perfect. Okay. So we're going to just come together and just gently allow your eyes to close. And bringing your attention right into your heart space. Noticing your breathing, not forcing it, just observing it. Just allowing it to be whatever it is in this moment. And anytime you want to intentionally connect to deeper information, the very first thing to do is take a nice deep breath. I love to call it the sacred breath, because this breath is pulling in your flow of that greater wisdom that is always available to you. Just pulling it right into yourself with that inhale. Deep down into the bottom of your lungs. Using your belly to pull in the breath. And just by doing this, you have already put yourself into a slightly altered state of relaxation and calm, shutting out the outside noise and giving the active mind something to focus on, just focusing on the breath, keeping it occupied. For it loves to distract you. But it also loves to be entertained. And your breathing is its entertainment in this moment. And just imagining beautiful feather. Whatever color you see the feather as is the perfect color for you. And that feather is just floating above your head, beautifully suspended. It's the feather of wisdom and knowledge. And this feather is powerful. It will clear away any cobwebs, any distractions, and anything that doesn't serve you well. Just watching that feather gently enter the crown chakra, just ever so gently pulling in a deeper calm and beautiful wisdom, floating down with a third eye. And as it reaches your third eye, it's just illuminating your inner knowing, even your inner seeing. And that inner seeing can be just like your imagination. Your imagination is another way that you can receive information. And that feather's just gently now floating down through the throat chakra. And as it does, it's just turning on your ability to hear any information that's being spoken. Just like you might hear a song playing in your mind, music. It's the same as that. And that wise feather just moving down now into the heart chakra. It's just turning on this beautiful love, this deep love from within you that's always there. This love is the creative part of yourself and the power of yourself. It just gets drowned out by the mind, but even when the mind is loud, that love is there. It's the foundation of you. And that beautiful feather just floating now down into the stomach, the solar plexus, where it's just turning on your ability to feel that gut reaction, that flutter in your chest, the chills, the goosebumps, the emotions. And at this point, all of your senses are flowing. And these are the senses that give you that information that you want to access. And they will help you answer the questions today about yourself. And that feather just floating now down through the sacral, opening up your sense of self and into the root. Just helping you ground and feel connected to the earth around you. Feeding off the energy of it. All the growth that the earth provides. And that beautiful feather is now suspended in front of you. It may even have transformed itself into a feather pen, into a quill. And underneath that quill is a book with handwritten pages. And this is the book of you. All your knowledge, all of your experiences, all of your beliefs, even the pain that you've gone through, even the joys, every piece of information about you that you need today. And you can look through the book if you want to. You can just place your hands on it, feel its energy. This book is just meant to comfort you, knowing that there's a place that stores all of your information, a safe place. It's only for you. No one else can see this. And in a moment, I'm going to begin to ask you some questions to just help you get to know yourself a little bit better. And when I ask the question, the first thing that comes to you, just write it down in your journal. It's safe to open your eyes. You will be okay. And when you're done writing, just close your eyes once again to prepare for the next question. The first question is, what thoughts or beliefs cause you to doubt your initial strong feelings about decisions? Just jot down anything that comes to you. It doesn't need to be full sentences. It's just for you to be able to remember. And the second question, how does feeling moments of imposter syndrome affect your trust in your inner knowing, in your intuition and decisions? The next question, What fears or past experiences make it difficult for you to trust advice on your own insights? Fourth question. How do you distinguish between your mind's chatter and your true inner voice, your gut reaction? Fifth question. How does fear prevent you from following your intuitive guidance? Does it play a role? Sixth question. It's really, do you have a spiritual practice? And is there any inconsistency in maintaining a spiritual practice to keep that connection to your intuition? Next question. What distractions or pressures pull you away from feeling connected to your inner self? Next question is, describe a moment when your actions felt out of alignment with your deeper inner calling, that deeper inner information. The next question, did you ever ignore any intuitive signals, that feeling or knowing, in a decision that you now regret? How does hesitation in taking risks affect your ability to follow your intuitive impulses, your knowings, your feelings that involve uncertainty? And the last question is, as an empath, meaning someone that's very sensitive and can feel lots of things, how does discerning your emotions from others impact your intuition clarity? So as soon as you're done writing, just get back into that beautiful state with your eyes closed, connecting once again with your breathing. Just notice that beautiful book and feather pen in front of you. Just gently close the book, knowing that you can open it up anytime you want to learn anything you need about yourself. And this is a beautiful thing. You can just gently place the feather pen on top of the book. And as you do, the feather pen becomes the feather once again, the feather of wisdom. Just gently floating now, once again above your head, just where it was when we began. Opening up the crown chakra, slitting out anything that does not serve you well. Letting it out into the universe, because the universe will know exactly what to do with it. The feather just gently floats away. And now that you know it's there, you can call upon it anytime you wish. And the crown's just closing once again, all of your chakras balanced, in alignment, deeply connected to yourself. Bringing your awareness now back into your body, into your breathing, the chair supporting you, the room around you, all of us together on the Zoom. Just opening your eyes whenever you are ready. How is everybody doing right now? So you can feel free to unmute yourselves. And the questions can be deep, and they're things you can return to fill in more information for yourself. But is there anything that you noticed as you were writing your answers?
I noticed a really clear awareness of like the situations and what I've learned from them, and how pausing and slowing down really helps me reconnect with my intuition again. These were great questions. I really, yeah, and just noticing my my reactions and the things that happened when I didn't trust versus what I did. So it was really, really wonderful.
That's excellent, because that actually is one of the things that you can do to help build the trust, is noticing the outcomes, you know?
This was a really good process. I love it.
Excellent, excellent. Melinda and Christine, how are you two doing? Anything that you noticed that you would love to share?
Um, I, you know, she's always different. I find that I seem to be connected more so in that realm than I am in this one. So I find that it causes isolation,
Mm-hmm.
misunderstanding. Um, and then I question, why did I not conform to out here so that I wouldn't have those feelings?
Mm-hmm.
But it always overrides. It's all, I mean, I get flashes, and when I don't get flashes, I get nervous that I've been left and now I'm not in either world. I know
Mm-hmm.
that sounds sort of, I don't know, even saying it just sounds vulnerable. And I don't really like it to speak it, because it's it's never turned out well. Past.
Well, Christine, first of all, I'm so grateful that you just said it. Kim just wrote in the chat, it's spot on. So anyone who is more aware of that inner knowing is more aware of the other world, as you called it. I call it the spirit world. And the spirit world, that other world that you feel more connected to, it's like a magnet. Once you have a connection to it, you do want to just be there,
Mhm,
because the love that is felt when you are connected to it is
mhm,
completely indescribable. And what we feel in the physical realm, we do feel love, but we also feel all the other things we don't always want to feel, right? And there it becomes this desire when you're very intuitive or you're on the more spiritual path to want more and more time being spent in that more meditative state or feeling connected. And the truth is, we are never alone. We are
Mhm.
always supported. And when you feel that powerful support, you don't want to not feel it. So what you're saying to me makes perfect sense. And I experienced that myself. My friends who are mediums, we all experience that. My students and my clients experience that. And um, it's perfectly natural. And not to get too philosophical, but we're literally sitting inside the world of spirit. It's not separate from us. The only thing that makes us feel separate is the ego mind. We're inside of
Mhm.
it. It's not out there far away. And I'm only saying that because I want you to leave here today knowing that what you're feeling is completely natural and not to
Mhm.
doubt that that's strange or unusual. Anyone who becomes more intuitive and starts understanding this and makes sense of it has those feelings that you just spoke so eloquently and beautifully. And for myself, what saved me was all of the relationships that I made in my own development with the people in those classes. And now some of them we teach together, we do things together. They're some of my closest and best friends. And I'm seeing that develop in my program now. The women are feeling so supported by one another. And it really does help to feel like you're not the only one who's
The
just
thing is
there, you
you
know?
need to see the fact that there is a terrible negative side. I mean, my mother was
Yes,
like that. And how destructive that it becomes very
absolutely.
difficult to own the cloak of it,
Yes,
thinking that somehow you, I don't know how it get away from you and you could cause such terrible harm that a lot of times that stops me.
yeah. So whether, and we've talked a little bit about this,
Mhm.
Christine, and thank you again for sharing this in the group right now. I really appreciate it. Um, a person who's going to be cruel to another person will access whatever they can to do it. And it's not necessarily the intuitive abilities that caused the cruelness. It was the cruelness using that to fuel it,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah,
So, um,
well put.
what happens, yeah, and what happens when we grow in this way, it makes us face all the things that we've gone through. And this one of my mentors said, love stays in us. Everything rising to the surface and calling our attention to it is not love and is meant to be released. And that's exactly what you're talking about, right? That past experience that was really hard, rising to the surface because of this pull intuitively that you feel, which feels good when you're there, right? But then it
Mhm.
brings up this other stuff rising to the surface. And I don't just teach intuitive development all on its own. To me, it's also the development and the healing of the person. And I combine those things together for exactly the reason that you're talking about, Christine, because everything rises to the surface. And it's just really, I've come to believe, our soul's way of helping us grow by showing
Mhm.
itself to us. It's just
True.
showing itself to us to help us. And that's an amazing thing and a beautiful thing, but it also can be overwhelming.
Mhm.
So you brought up like an amazing point. I would love to be able to talk to you more about that. But I don't want you to feel like you're the only one that experiences what you are experiencing. Everyone's here shaking their head yes, right with you right now. But not just here. In my experience, this has been very common okay? And any kind of trauma, whether it was trauma expressed through like a psychic knowing or trauma in another form, rises to the surface when we become more connected within ourselves. And
Mhm.
I'm hoping, like, there's some science now behind mediumship, psychic, intuitive, and the way the brain is working, which really excites me. Um, and I'm hoping a scientist someday studies the brain and this connection that we have intuitively with trauma, because I feel like trauma does change our pathways of our brain. We use our brain differently when we're connecting to our intuition and intuitive abilities. That's already been proven. So maybe there's a link here too with your soul giving you this wisdom and this ability to access this wisdom as a way to help you. And I don't just mean you, Christine, but all of us, help all of us through the things that we have suffered and that are difficult. Um, maybe someday we'll be able to say, here's the graph. Here's the EEG and the MRI proving this all true. Because they're already showing it in other ways. Exactly like that. I actually participated in a study recently on the clairs and mental and psychosis. So really showing all of that. So science is getting interested.
I had a quick
Kim,
question. Yeah. So did I understand you correctly that trauma rises to the surface when we listen to our intuition more? Is that
it's not really that, no. It's when we delve in and start developing this skill. What's happening is that development is actually you creating a closer relationship with what I call the soul. So the true essence of you, the loving power of you. And as you spend time there, the soul will start healing the parts of you that need healing. And oftentimes, those parts are the effects of trauma. So these things will rise to the surface. Um, so for instance, in my program, the women are learning how to do like business readings specific for their entrepreneurship. And as they're doing that, different things will rise to the surface for them. They may notice, I'm getting the information, but I don't trust it, so I won't say it. So like trust might rise to the surface. And we got to work on trust a little bit, right? Confidence might rise to the surface. Fear might rise to the surface. Afraid to connect. So that's what I mean. It's just giving us this other way of healing. So many things that we do in our lives are, I mean, I really think are just moving us along on this healing and growing journey, including this part of yourself. Um, so Melinda's saying, for the purpose of clearing the suppressed parts of us, so our connection to our intuition and soul is stronger. Yeah. I feel like I do not call intuitive abilities a gift. I know a lot of people use the word gift because to me it's a skill you can develop, and a gift implies not everybody has it. And, mediums in general have a hard time charging, but they'll pay for classes for 10 years and still not feel like they can charge for a reading. The word gift also hurts us in our ability to charge for our services. A lot of entrepreneurs suffer from being able to charge for their services or charging enough, right? We suffer from that. Where was I getting? I forgot I just lost my whole train of thought. I just completely lost it, but I know it was something Melinda said.
you said exactly what we needed to hear?
Okay. All right. But that it's not that these are gifts, right? These are skills that we get to flex and build. And the word gift also makes people feel like they'll never be able to have it. And that makes me sad because everyone can have it. Everyone does have it. So, yeah. But thank you, Christine. Thank you. I'm really so glad that you felt like you could say that out loud here. Melinda, you have something?
Um, Christina, completely relate, as I'm also does Kim, based on her nodding and her responses. But one of the ways, if you don't mind me sharing, Kim, that I viewed it as was we, as souls, when we came into the body, and a lot of people now call this valuable real estate, these human bodies that we're in, is that it's being in the human form, we unlearn what we naturally know, which is that intuition. And our journey is to be able to go through the human experience, which emotions are not part of the soul. So we're learning about being human, but also it's our journey in learning being human to journey back to our soul and our natural abilities. And it is a conflict, because it's like, hold on, I don't want to have all of these emotions and things. And I know that pure place. But part of why people like ourselves have chosen that is so that we can help others through the journey as well and be the lights. And so it's that, okay, I'm going to accept this body and this human experience and allow myself to express my full potential, which, Kim, I love the fact that you help people remember that potential and and support them to express it to the full capacity while they're here. So thank you for the gift that you share with us.
Well, thank you. And, it helps you, it helps your entrepreneurship. But like what's underneath all of that for me personally is it helps you as a person really understand everything that's available to you. And to me, that's so beautiful.
I just got so much clarity, Kim, from our talk the other day, and what I've been going through the last couple of weeks, but also the last few years have just been like,
Mhm.
so this very powerful. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. I'm so glad. I'm so glad. It's just the way our soul is choosing to express itself, just like it's expressing itself through your entrepreneurship. And your entrepreneurship is making you work on certain things, right? So that you can do the thing, right? Same with your intuitive abilities, your knowing abilities. It's another way that your soul is showing itself to you and helping you grow as a person. So is it, if someone's in mediumship development because they want to give mediumship readings, like they want to talk to a spirit person for someone, is that really what it's all about? On the soul level, I think it's about that soul really helping that medium be in touch with that part of themselves. I think that's what it's about for all of us. So, yeah, any other things? So like I feel like in the few statements, Kim and Christine, like you really brought up things like trust and fear, the confidence, and just even past negative experiences can really start to block our using this part of ourselves. Kim, yes.
Fusion.
The confusion between the mind.
No, the confusion I have over just where to go, what to do first, all of that, because of the experiences and the trauma I had as a child that didn't make sense then.
Yeah. Mhm. Yes. Yeah. So all those things. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. I know, right? I know. Thank you all, because like we've just created such a beautiful safe space here today to talk and share these experiences and these knowings, and the light bulbs going off. So I think that that's a beautiful thing. And I'm hoping when you leave today, you'll leave with wanting to be curious about how much more you can receive for yourself and how that can help you. Would it be okay if I show you or I talk to you a little bit about how I support people with this process of working through some of these blocks and actually and really activating your use of your intuitive abilities. Yes. Thank you. Thank you. So I have a program. It's currently running, and I'm going to be running it again. That's really deeply rooted in creating a relationship with your inner self, with your soul, through the intuitive development and teachings and clearing these blocks that we're talking about, the resistance, the hardships that we've been talking about, so that you can really start to build your intuition and your intuitive skill set to use in your business. It will strengthen your ability to receive and trust the deeper insights, develop the ability to make precise, aligned decisions more effortlessly for your business. And just like we've been talking about today, there's a lot more to using and trusting your intuition than just listening to it, right? Just those initial raindrops that we talked about, that there's so much more for you, so much more available. And it's possible to start accessing that. And Julie, I'm glad you're here because Julie is with me right now, and she's one of the people that's pleasantly enjoying being able to connect into that, deeper knowledge and showing herself that she can do this in her coaching business, which has been really beautiful. This program, formerly known as the Unstoppable Entrepreneur, is the Visionary Intuitive Entrepreneurs Program to master your intuitive edge and quantum shift your business with my soul step method. And it's really about helping you get on that fast track of developing your intuitive abilities, where I've combined my training as a psychic intuitive medium and my skills as a therapist to condense the information that I have learned to present it to you so that you can start really using this part of yourself in your business to supercharge your work, to supercharge yourself, that belief and trust in yourself, and really take your business to that next level where you're changing how you're communicating with your clients, planning collaborations, creating new programs and offers, and tapping into that inner knowing with real clarity and confidence. And the main difference is intentionally tapping into it, not waiting for that drop of rain to touch you, but intentionally going in to access information. And that is something that you can learn how to do. In the 4 steps, we're doing 4 different things together. The first step is we're identifying where all that resistance is. So those are the things that we were talking about today, right? The fear, the self-doubt, the past negative experiences, the things that are like your traffic jam for the flow of the information. So we identify that. I do that intuitively with you, like a little laser beam kind of coming right in intentionally. We work individually when I'm doing that, so that you have that privacy and that safety to be seen and heard, and identify those things. And then in the second step, we're of course going to work on giving you relief from those things, getting into the root cause of them and healing them so that we can clear up your pipeway, your traffic jam, and get you feeling better also just about yourself, your trust in yourself and your ability to do all of this. And this, you will see this in different aspects of your life, not just your work. You may get super charged up, like, I want to do this because I want to build my business, but it's going to help change you as a person too. And you're going to feel better about yourself. For my own self, my intuitive development was really what healed my severe anxiety, fear, worry, and panic. And nothing else helped me. And I am a social worker and psychotherapist, so I knew what to do. And it was my intuitive development that miraculously, what felt like miraculously, made the change in me. And once I saw how much it could help myself, I was like, I got to bring this to others, because we all have our things that we struggle with. And sometimes, like myself, you just get to the point where I was just like, this is just who I am. This is how I'm going to live my life. I will always chronically worry. I will always have panic attacks. I will always be afraid. And I just had come to the point where I gave up on trying to heal that. And then my soul showed me something different. In that third step, I'm going to again, intuitively, like a little laser beam, identify your natural process, how you're connecting to the information. Because there is a technique to this, but there's also your natural way that you are already doing it. So Christine, like when you said, like, feeling connected to that world, like you already have a natural way that you have an awareness and a conversation. So I'm going to help you really identify what that is so that you can keep doing it stronger and stronger and stronger. We each have our own way. And what I found in my own development was each teacher was teaching me their way. And sometimes that messed up my way, and sometimes it helped my way. And I was like, you know what? I know people's ways when I'm with them. I can tell. Julie can speak to it. I know exactly what's going on. I know exactly how Julie's connecting, what she's doing, and where her strengths are and where she needs to work. And developing your way is the most important thing so that it can feel natural to you and not messed up. So we will be doing that. And then the last step is really so important. It's going to be about implementing all of this into your life and your business. We're going to do this through some powerful manifesting, because that's another way for you to feel more connected to your inner self. Believe it or not, it's a way to blend with your soul when you manifest in specific ways. So the manifesting, the working through the pain, and the identifying your natural process, all aimed to strengthen this ability for you to bring forward in your work, is the goal of this program. Does it sound good so far? The most exciting thing is we culminate with a retreat where we all come together in person on the beach, where we're going to work on your ability to communicate with what I call your spirit guides. You might just call it your soul, your higher beings, your angels. Maybe it's a loved one in the spirit world that you feel connected to. Whatever that is for you, again, your natural process. We're going to be working on that communication. I'm bringing other experts into the program. I have someone that's helping me on the retreat. Julie met her yesterday. She works with the Akasha Records. And I have special events throughout the program, bringing in other aspects on different things to help you in the business. So far, we've had a money mindset coach, someone who specializes like in the energetics of your business, someone who works with the subconscious and really helping you change that inner computer of yourself so that it can change your daily way of thinking about yourself. We have someone that's coming in to do breath work, human design, and I might have one other thing. It's still to be determined for the group that I have now. But I really believe in experts coming together to give a full experience to the people in my program to really help you in your entrepreneurship, because you took that initial risk that we spoke about, where you left the security to do something that your whole heart wants you to do. And any way that I can support you making that possible or bringing you to that next level in your business is what I want to do for you. And to me, The golden nugget is your intuitive abilities, just waiting to flow stronger and stronger and stronger. So that's what I have to offer you all. If you are interested in that, we would just have a discussion together. And I really just even invite you to have a call with me if you want to talk more about the resistance and the blocks that we spoke about today that you identified from those questions, especially as you go back and look at those things. If you need some support on figuring out, like, what do I do with this now? What is my next step for myself? I'm offering a free call to all of you where I will do that beginning assessment of your natural way of connecting to your intuition so that you have something to start using for yourself where it's a little clearer for you. So feel free to book that call. I just put the link in the chat if you would like to do that. Any questions about any of that before we keep moving along?
I was curious about how long it is and what the investment is, but it's probably after the phone call. So,
Yeah, it's a 4-month program
okay.
and then the retreat. So the retreat might be like a few weeks after. It depends on like the booking of the Airbnb at the retreat and all of that.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's a great question, but thank you. We work as a group and we work individually together to just allow the fullness of the experience for you to have that personal time. And I'm very particular. I'm going to be very honest about who joins it because of the group work. I really intuitively pick people who I know are going to work well together. So I lovingly don't take everybody, but give them another choice to work with me, another way to work with me. It's not for everybody. So
When are you looking to start it up again?
it's a good question, Christine. Thank you. End of spring, June.
End of April then?
No, well, I think of the end of spring and June.
It's in June?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Because my first program is ending the very end of April, beginning of May, and then just have a few weeks and then get going again. Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah. So everything is online except for the retreat. So, yeah. All right. So I really want to thank you all, and I want to respect everyone's time. And because we're a small group, initially I set this up that we were going to take a break and then I was going to do little card readings for you. But how does everyone feel about we just jump into that? Because I know some of you have another class too. Sound good?
Sounds
Yes.
great.
Okay. All right. If anyone needs to get up and stretch your legs, please do. Um, so you guys are just a lovely group. Julie, anything that you want to share with people while I'm pulling my cards out, like about what it's been like to be a part of everything?
Sure. I've been intuitive since being a child. It's sort of a natural thing that I shared with my mom. And when my mom passed, I stopped trying to reach my intuitive side. And also too, when my mom passed, I was in the midst of a corporate career and I wasn't dealing with that side of me. I was dealing with nothing but ego, logical, that side of my brain. So I kind of fell away from it. But in the recent years, since I've been a coach, I've been trying to get it back, not get it back. It's always been there, but just trying to reignite it and develop it. And since I've been a part of Kim's program, I've been in several programs, but since I've been in Kim's program, it's been extremely powerful in terms of how the group connects with each other. Kim has the ability to see in people their abilities to connect with each other as a group. And it's been wonderful because we've all made connections in outside of the group. We've all practiced with each other. And it's just wonderful. That's all I can say.
Yeah, I've loved working with you, Julie. Thank you. It's been great. It's been great. So I'm just shuffling. Has anyone never had a card reading before? Is this new to anybody? Okay. So is it new to you, Christine?
Well, I've watched it on YouTube and stuff like that,
Okay.
but no, I've never had a personal one.
Okay. Okay. So just to let you know, I read everything with love. That's what I feel this information is for anyway, for love and encouragement. So I call this like business card reading. So you can ask me a question that you have, but if you want to ask me something else, that's okay too. All right. Um, or if you are like, you know what, Kim? I just want to see what the universe has to say to me today. We can do that. So I'm going to read each one of you individually, and I'm just going in the order on my screen. So I have Melinda here first on the screen, and I'm using two decks today. I'm just going to pull the one that I feel called to use. One is the tarot deck. Um, and the tarot is a deck of cards that are always the same, no matter who makes them. There's the same number of cards and the same cards in the deck that have both a traditional meaning and intuitive. So I read both. I read both ways with the tarot. It's a little bit of a mix of the traditional meaning of the card and also what I'm intuitively being drawn to say. Then I have this other deck that's like my favorite deck. It's an oracle deck, and oracle decks are different than the tarot. This is called the Work Your Light deck. And oracle decks are just made by an author and an artist. Maybe it's one person, two people, where they've created a deck of cards with specific meanings. They always come with a little book that tells you what the card means. So you can pick a card for yourself. You don't even have to be able to read cards and just read the book and do it that way. And again, I read these cards both ways, knowing what the card means. I don't read from the book for you. Um, I've just been using them for a while, and then also what I just feel intuitively drawn to say to you. Okay, so that's how we'll do it. So Melinda, do you have a question that you want to ask, and feel free to unmute.
Um, just whatever message is there for
Oh,
me, Kim. Thank you.
Whatever the open oracle, Melinda. I really, I was only going to work with the tarot today, but I was like, I have to use this deck for Melinda.
Thank you. And I do apologize. I mixed up my times, so I thought I
Oh,
had to
no
leave.
worries.
And I
No,
wanted to come back, so because it's a beautiful group and your gift. Thank you.
thank you for coming back, Melinda. And Melinda, you're in New Zealand, correct? Yeah, so the converting the time change is, you have to be a mathematician to do it.
And because this started at 6 o'clock this morning for me, so I've mixed
Oh,
up my times this morning.
well, thank you for getting out of bed early for me and all of these lovely ladies and for sharing your wisdom. I don't know how you have wisdom at 6 o'clock in the morning. I don't. Okay. So the way I like to pull is just what happened now to see what flies out. So two cards flew out. One's on the floor. Hang on. So I'm going to read them in the order that I received them. This first one is just called Birthing of the New Age. And I love to read like the main figure in the card as representing the person that I'm reading, right? So as you can see, there's this beautiful woman, and she's just surrounded by this few circles. It's like a labyrinth, I would call it, illuminated by lots of light and the big expanse of sky. And it's called Birthing a New Age. And Melinda, I've known you for, well, maybe since what? Maybe September? When did we meet? So not too long. But what I've noticed about you in this other program that you're in is the depth of the information that you're starting to access is really growing. And I don't know if you are aware of this yourself. So when you first spoke this morning and you were like, oh, it started like this, but now it's like all these thoughts and words, and it's that growth. So the birthing of the new age to me is representational of that growth. And you, unlike a lot of people, you've taken the time to start to understand the how behind how you're receiving the information. And you've gotten really curious. And I feel like that curiosity is just expanding, expanding, expanding. And the more it expands, the more excited you become. The more excited you become, the more information you will receive. And the way that you receive this information to me is really with the crown chakra, and it's not a way that I teach people to work, because with the crown chakra, when you're receiving through the crown, you can really be receiving from multiple dimensions, so to speak, right? You could be talking to a loved one in spirit, you could be talking to your soul, you could be talking to guides, you could be talking to angels. Like, it's just like there's this vast thing that can be happening. And you are just like, I am open, whatever wants to come through. And that's just how I see it with you, right? Is this opening. And what I want to say to you is, when we're open so wide, it's really important to once in a while just kind of close a little down, come back in, get grounded. And guess what? Your second card was get grounded. So with this excitement, and Christine talked about it too, when she said, like, I always kind of want to be there, right? It's so exciting to access this information, and we don't want to shut it down. It's hard to, because of that excitement. But I want to just say to you, Melinda, strike the balance. If you close it down, it will open again. It never closes down for good unless you say, I am closed down for good. You are always in charge. You are always in control. All right. And I really feel very strongly for you to be using your pen and writing, because I feel like the depth of the information is going to be really difficult for a lot of people to understand. And you're going to need to write it down and then explain it to people. It's going to be a certain highly developed spiritual person that will be able to understand the information that you are accessing, not someone at the beginning of their journey, spiritually speaking. Someone who's really been doing this a long time and is like, I need a new piece of information. It's all the same out there. Okay. So I really feel excited about this for you. But I think gaining more control over the opening and closing, I think it will just, you have to take care of yourself too. You know, we have to take care of our body, because the body is how everything is getting expressed. And when you close and ground, you can open it back up.
Yeah.
Not be concerned about that. Okay. Yeah.
I build and garden, so I go and build things,
Good.
and I'm very conscious of my
Gardening. Perfect.
yeah.
Perfect.
I love whoever just came through then, that in addition to it being you, because the feedback I've been getting lately is about talking in universities.
I
And
said that to you in your reading.
ah,
I said your clients are professors.
yes, you did. You
Yeah.
did. You did.
So if it's coming
But
up and
you
coming up, pay attention.
yeah.
You know.
And I'll put it out there because this is, yeah, I can feel the difference between what I've been doing that feels, I know it's where I need to start, but I know there's more. But whoever just came through you just then was very professor-like. Total tone change and look and energy. So thank you.
All right.
That, Kim, thank
And
you.
Melinda, I want to give you this little droplet of information too, because under this umbrella of us connecting to our intuition and everything that we can do, there are many different ways to do it. One of those ways is going to seem very, very woo and out there when I tell you what it is. But I feel like you have this ability, you could develop this ability, and it's called trance speaking. And it's when a person gets into a deeper, deeper state. So really the theta into, is it delta, the next state? Deep theta state.
Like
And like what?
cryon.
I'm not sure.
Okay, cryon is channeled through a gentleman.
Oh,
I've
okay. So you're talking about someone who channels. Yes. So if they're really properly doing it, some people call it channeling, some people call it trance speaking. Okay. They are in an altered state. You are still present when you're in that altered state. It's not like you disappear, but you're allowing a spirit, a much higher level spirit person. Usually it's a group, speak. And the purpose of it is to give wisdom that can help humanity. Okay. And there are people out there doing it. A lot of them I don't think are that great at it. It's harder to find people that are really doing it well and giving information that we haven't heard over and over and over again before. Okay. So that new information. So this is what I feel for you. Okay. So that's a specific thing to develop. It is a form under the umbrella of mediumship development, which is like the umbrella of all of this as far as I'm concerned.
and you work with that side of people as well, Kim?
Well,
Is
I don't do this in public, but I do trance speaking. It is a
okay.
very strange thing to witness, so I haven't really felt like I want to do this in public yet. Um, Christine's laughing, right? So, like, let's talk about being woo. But I've taken trance development, and the first step towards that would be really mediumship development and training you to get into a deeper and deeper altered state. So mediumship development is also an altered state, but this is going deeper.
Yep.
Okay. There's also things called trance healing. Again, healing occurs. It's not speaking.
Yep.
And that I do spontaneously when I'm doing Reiki work. I just don't say I'm doing trance healing. Um, so we can talk further about that because you probably have more questions about what that is. And I can point you to some people to watch.
Yeah.
I think
Cryon.
ethically doing it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cryon's one that I absolutely
Yeah.
know.
Okay. Yeah.
But thank you, such valuable information, and I appreciate it enormously.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I do have to apologize because I've got that next
No,
that I need
you've got to go. I
to
know.
go and have some breakfast.
Yeah. Go.
Kim, thank you. Christine, beautiful to meet you. Julie, thank you for sharing what you did. I, such a both of you, such precious people. And Kim, you're just beautiful. Thank you so much and have an awesome afternoon.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you.
Bye-bye, Linda. Have a great day.
Thank you. So, Christine, you're next on my screen. Do you have a
Um,
particular question or?
No, I've just been basically putting it out to the universe at whatever they think I really need to hear, and
Okay.
it adds clarity, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I'm going to stick with the same deck if that's okay.
Fine, whatever you feel the calling to.
To me, it's a very divine feminine deck, and we're just here all women. So let's see what I would say is what spirit wants to say.
Yeah.
Okay. Again, two cards flipped out. And I don't have to pull the card. That's why I wait till something flips out because I don't know. I don't want responsibility. I want spirit
Right.
card. really powerful cards, Christine. We have the ever unfolding rose and the awakening. Okay. Even though this flipped first, I'm going to start with this one. So the awakening is a little bit self-explanatory, right? It's you coming in touch with that deeper part of yourself, that intuitive part of yourself, and even the world of spirit. Now, we already know that you're in touch with that because you were speaking about that, and that you have created like your own natural process of feeling that love and support, feeling like you're not alone when you're there with them, which is really beautiful. But what I feel like this card is pulling its attention to is really working on the surrender of it, because I feel like there's hesitancy to really sink into it in a deeper way. Like you're like, I'm here, but I don't want to go over there. Like something is making you like a little bit of afraid of going over there. Okay. And deepening that connection does take working on the surrender part of it. So you even just look at this woman, like she's in a very vulnerable position, just lying back,
Mm-hmm.
suspended in the air, like the universe will carry me, like in complete trust. And actually, I don't know if you can really see the artwork behind me.
Yes, I have been looking at it
It's a
a
woman
lot.
in a position. My sister created that, and she calls
Wow.
it surrender to be replenished. And this woman is in that position of deep surrender, but all this energy is coming up to replenish her. Uh,
Wow.
and when she painted that a few years ago, I was like, I was like obsessed. I have to have this because this is like what I want for my clients, like to really
Yeah.
trust. And she's always in galleries. And I kept like manifesting. I want her to sell her artwork. I really do. But I want that piece for me.
Yeah. No,
And
I would have to say surrender is one of the
uh,
hardest things for me to do.
yeah, so like I feel like this is like the beginning. If we call it the awakening, when you say you're an awakening, it's almost like you're at the beginning of the process, right? And the awakening can go on and on. So I feel like this is, if I were going to work with you, this is where we would start. And it would be what is preventing the surrender? What's making you afraid of the surrender? What's making it hard to do? And I feel like that's where we would start. Like that's the message in the card. So
Yeah.
even not working with me, this is where you start for you, working on this piece for you, Christine. Um, this is, to me, one of my most favorite cards of this deck, the ever unfolding rose. And I don't know if you can see. So we've got this gorgeous rose in like the height of its bloom, all of its glory. And it's in this beautiful mystic path that almost looks ethereal, almost like you're in a church, something really gothic and ethereal. And I actually bought this deck because of the roses, because I use the rose symbolically to represent the soul. And it's in my logo, it's in like writings that I do. And the ever unfolding rose to me is this soul support that we get to lie back on. And one of the things that I do when I'm, well, I'll just call it meditation, is sometimes I just lie back on that rose, like my own rose, and just feel that replenishment, that we're talking about here. And that's
Mm-hmm.
what's also beautiful about this card is this ever unfolding of the depths of yourself, what you're capable of, the power of you, the wisdom of you. And also, as you discover that, the ever unfolding of the layers of the healing that you get to do on your self discovery journey. And the rose being that soul, the spirit of you, the essence of you, the creator of you, always carrying you through it each step of the way. It's
Mm-hmm.
always there. So that when you're surrendering and lying back, You can just lie back on that part of yourself.
Mhm.
And if you look at your life in times that were hard and times that were scary, and what really pulled you through was something inside of you each time. You might have sometimes had help, you might not have.
Mm.
But ultimately, just like when you help your clients, you can show them everything, but they ultimately have to do the work. And that's the same for you. You ultimately brought yourself through everything you got through. You did it because of
Mm.
inside of yourself. So coming to understand that and really
Mm.
embody that for yourself, I think is the message of this card for you. You know,
Okay.
feeling that beauty. And Christine, I know I've told you this a million times, but like when you speak, it's so powerful. It's so mesmerizing. And you really speak from that raw place that people connect to. Because when you speak, they feel themselves. And that's what you do for people. You help people really feel themselves and they feel like they belong. And I was listening recently to one of my mediumship teachers, and I was listening to like a recording. You know how you have the recordings and you go back and listen to them again. And we did this exercise where we were blending with our souls. And one of the students came out and said, I felt like I belonged in a way that I have never felt in my entire life. Like I truly belonged. And it was very emotional, of course, for her. And that's the feeling that you give in that other group where you speak. And everybody's like this, like hanging on your every word. And it's that you ignite this sense of belonging and being seen in people. And you're completely unaware that you're doing it. You're just speaking from your heart, speaking from your own knowledge, your own experience. But I do feel like you're divinely guided in those moments because you touch everyone. Nobody's fiddling around when Christine speaks. We are all listening. We're all listening. And
It's
that,
lost on me right now, but I will take your word for it.
okay, lost on you, but not lost on anybody else. It's beautiful. And it's one of the most powerful parts of you is your ability to do that. So
Okay.
that's what I want to say to you
Get
today.
them in the right place at the right time for this business.
Yes. Yes. Absolutely.
Christine, I've never heard you speak. I would love to be able to hear you speak.
Oh
Mm.
gosh. I'm I don't know. I mean, I think a lot of times that the things that I say that I repeat because I don't feel that I've said it. But I feel very, very, very led in what I do. And a lot of times I don't know where it really leads.
Mhm.
So, but when it rattles in my head so much that I have to say it just so that I can move on to something else,
Yeah.
um, that's when I'm getting ready to do YouTube.
Uh-huh.
And with the things that I truly believe in that are right now so totally different than what is being done in business and
Uh-huh.
with people. And don't get me on my soapbox. I get on and then I can't stop. But um, but it's a fear because I have spent my whole life not talking
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
because it just wasn't well received. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm a lot older than most. So, I mean, I come from a time where, though my mother and my grandmother both have this ability, my grandmother spent time in and out of an institution,
Yeah.
and my mother threatened often.
Yeah.
Oh, Okay,
So,
I could
I mean,
understand that. Yeah.
yeah, she did a number on all three of us, you know, but knowing how you could go inside and what your weaknesses are.
Yes.
Um, so I mean, that upsets me, you know, to know and see that and not to get lost in it. And that I think is my biggest fear when they say surrender, is that when things have gotten bad, and I have been in therapy for most of my life, and my last therapist, I have a close friend now who was in therapy with me. And when we would get to a certain point, I don't remember it, but she would tell me, she goes, she would start to breathe heavily. And then she would just look at me and she said, you would go. And I would pass out. And
Mm-hmm.
I could truly feel somebody's arm around my stomach and pulling me out my back and saying, you're safe. We got you.
Yeah.
And for the longest time when I was a kid, I thought there was a back door because they go, well, it's in the back door. Oh, that, yeah, that makes sense. There's so many illogical things that as a kid I interpreted from what I was experiencing to what was actually happening. Um, but I would come back with like a severe headache and
Mhm.
not remember. And if things got a little too close to whatever it was in the past, I I I usually left. No, I
Yeah,
always
the fear took over. Yeah.
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 And
Yeah.
I would and I through most of like from 12, I don't know. I don't remember anything from the age of probably 12, but 12 on, I had at least three people that I talked to constantly,
Mhm.
um, that were there with me all the time. And then I fell in love and they left.
Mm.
And a month and a half later, they sort of the son of a bitch full of like, you know, first love, that kind of stuff. And I haven't, I only have flashes when something that is supposed to, like I'll say, I'm really worried about this. How could this happen? Or I'll be doing something and I'll get a flash of like a kitchen and I'll say, oh, I'm going to have my own place. Or I'll have a flash of something. It's not something that I can hang on to,
Yeah.
but I get a direction or a pull of where I'm supposed to be, like doing this YouTube. I have been dragging my feet because the only thing I'm going to say is what I feel and not in it. And it's totally different. Kim can tell you if everybody's going left, I'm going right. I see something totally different, totally in a different light. And when I went through my worst time in my life, I promised God if he got my kids out safe and I made it through to the other side, I would never let any other woman go through this because I'm a fighter and I can fight. What my biggest problem is now is to present this message in this universe right now, the way the world is. They don't need a fighter. They need someone that speaks from their heart. And that has been guided and covered and cemented in for so long. So a lot of times when people say, what kind of accomplishments have you made this week on your business? I've peeled away another block or two from my heart so that I can talk honestly without getting lost in the message or what I feel. Oh, and I'm hoping it's only because I've seen it in my past, the hate that comes to you when you are different. And
Mm-hmm.
but it's been and I knew this was coming. I mean, a year and a half, I tried every possible way doing this from a business standpoint. And one night I just went to the window and I said, I give. I give. It's not working. I can't figure it out. I can't make it work within the confines. And that was long before I got into the imposter syndrome information and stuff like that. And I just said, whatever you want me to use, I'm yours. I'll do it. I'll figure it out. And you just keep my back, you know? At times I'm afraid of being physically hurt, but I have been in the past for doing this. So I'm hoping that those kind of things are behind me and not in front of me. But the calling is so intense that I can't not do it.
Yeah.
And we'll see where it leads,
Yeah.
you know? If not, I hope all of you will collect bail and get me out of jail and
We
release me,
will.
whatever.
We'll
But
break down doors, but like Christine, it's so important for like messages like yours to be out there and to show people there's this beautiful other side of all of this. So
yes,
speaking from your heart shows that, you know? Hmm.
the new world is just so beautiful. And I'm
Yes.
not talking from death. I'm talking that from the energy level that we are in now, it's so thick and sticky and dark. And where it is on the other side of just openness and
Yeah.
air and breath and to sit down there and say, well, I'll go, but I'm leaving the rest of you. I could never do. I mean, we all go or we don't go. I mean, that's how I look at it. And nobody gets left behind is always been my motto. Nobody gets left behind
Yeah.
because I have been left behind and I know how it feels.
Yes.
And so yeah, when the time comes, I'm hoping to get enough gumption and enough push internally to just do it. I think I'm going to be doing it very shortly in the next few days. My goal is March 3rd to put something out there and just not ask who's seeing it, what's doing it. I said, the universe, that's your problem now. I did my part, you do yours, and we'll see where it leads. And but I think, I talked to Kim when I had like a major meltdown of just trying to realize that the medium that I had to use was YouTube. And I was like, from somebody who's been behind the curtain and not even acknowledged. And now you're telling me you want me to step out front and speak stuff that, I mean, it's contradictory to everything that we've been told. And it's just, I
You
can't say
have
it's,
so much to offer, Christina, and you have such a wonderful, you have so much to offer people, especially in this world today, the way it is.
Yeah.
Um,
Mhm.
and people like us are becoming so much more accepted than previous decades, and
yes,
you just have so much strength inside, and you really need to show it. You need to you can help people. You
Yeah.
can help so many people. You
Yeah.
really can.
And showing it in an ethical way because
Yes.
well, there's so many myths and there's a lot of unethical things happening in the world of intuition. Um, and doing it ethically is really what's needed. So every time you speak, you do speak that way. Like you speak out of love, you speak out of realness, authenticity, all the things. So even if you start speaking about your own spiritual experiences, it will be the same. And I, for myself, Christine, it was terrifying for me to come out as a medium. Like I worked in psych hospitals.
you know that,
Oh yeah,
Yes. Yes.
social worker at a psych hospital. What were my colleagues gonna think?
yeah,
Hmm.
You know, what was my
Absolutely.
family going to think? All the things. And I battled with it because I didn't have to come out. But I just kept feeling like, from what I understand of the world of spirit, humanity needs this support. And
Mhm.
we need to start showing the world that this can be done ethically and beautifully. Like there's a whole other way to speak about this and showcase it. And it can be hugely beneficial.
Well, that's why there's so many, I mean,
Yeah,
the children that are being born now
yeah,
of this new vibration, and they
yeah.
don't understand, and they see everything online, and they're lost, and they're taught an antiquated system of thought processes. So they end up taking their lives because they can't feel like they're here. They're so lost because they're I mean, at least I have a vibrational from a past which is stuck all over me, you know, but they're coming in totally blind into a world that has gotten even crazier. And without putting out something, I mean, it's not like I don't have something to sell. At the same time, it's like I also don't feel like I'm it's like it's an offer. It's not a program. I'm offering you this thought process. Think about it for the day. If you don't like it, throw it away. I don't care. I don't care if you think I'm good. I don't care if you think this is something you want more. That's great. We can figure something out. But if it's not, oh my God, I just had that. Hmm. eh. Everyone dreams when you were kids and you're going to have no idea what the shit that meant. What
Mm.
I just had it. Just what I just said to you two. Probably almost 45 years ago. Interesting. You were there.
Mm. Mm. You
Interesting.
had a flash?
Yeah. Of
Oh,
something
wow.
Woo!
something I had a long time ago. And
Uh-huh.
I'm going, what does that mean? And
It
every
just
once
gave
in
me
a
the
while, and I'm
chills.
saying, am I on the
Yeah,
right
me
path?
too.
I just
Am
got
I
the
on the
chills
right
big
path?
time.
And all
Christine.
you said this, and I looked at you and I went, that's them. That, that, and now I don't even remember what I said. It was just such like,
Yeah,
whoosh.
yeah. I love it. It's like deja vu
Yes.
almost, when things like that
Mm-hmm.
happen. Yeah.
Wow.
Woo!
Yeah.
Ooh.
It's amazing. No, it's nice. And I love the idea that Kim goes here. And there's this whole group of women that talk this way. And I'm like going, oh my God, that's worth the course right there. Finding other women. I mean, even everybody in the group, I'm going, everybody on this page thinks the same way.
Mhm.
That's that's a first for me.
It's powerful and
Other than
Yes.
having,
necessary because you can feel alone with these beliefs and these experiences. And um, I don't know what would have happened to me, Christine, if I didn't get into development and make the friends that I made. Some of them we've never met in person, but they are my closest friends, because they live all over the world.
right.
And some now we do see each other.
Mm-hmm.
That's wonderful too. And like I said earlier, Julie just met Diana yesterday in our program because Diana's going to come to the retreat. And she's one of my dearest, closest friends. And I couldn't have walked this journey without her. So those relationships carried me through my development and my like shedding of my beliefs, my changing my beliefs, and really, in a lot of ways, becoming a different person. Someone
Yeah.
I, when I think of my old self, I don't recognize her quite as much, you know? Um,
Hmm.
and then the feeling
Mm-hmm.
I had, like, I'm married. When I first started this journey, I was like, is my husband gonna be okay with this? Like all those things too. So
Right.
there's a lot of things that get shook up as you walk this path and you do that surrender. Um, it's
It's
not
amazing.
easy. It's beautiful and exciting, but it's also hard. It's
Mm-hmm.
both.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I always believed that back before I even admitted to any of this, I said that when I started my last business prior to this one, I said, I faced every fear that I had. And it came down to the fact that I realized anybody who comes into this world who decides to be an entrepreneur has chosen the fast track to facing all the fears. Because as soon as you finish one, there's another one and another one and another one. And that's why so many people go, oh, I'm an entrepreneur. I put a post up, and I'm like going, well, that's not it.
Yeah.
You haven't even scraped the surface
Yeah.
until and then you get done with all that. And then you're going, and now we're going deeper. And now we're peeling the onion back and we're doing, but I think that it's that kind of thing like going, you signed up for going, no, I want to get it all knocked off now. I don't want to come back 15 times. Let's do it all the first time.
I say
You
that all
know,
the time. I'm like, one
let's do it.
one and
Bring it
done.
on, bring it on,
Bring it on, one and done.
Yeah.
But
And
it doesn't work that way.
I know, Julie, but we can try.
I
Yes, I
know,
know. I
I
know.
know. But the thing is I think that when you look at it from that spec,
Yeah,
and it's not happening to you, it's happening for you.
absolutely.
Right.
And you find the lesson that's in each and every hurt, every
Yeah.
failure, every stumble, and you get
Yes.
back up, then
Yep.
you've succeeded. And that I think
Yes.
how many people have you seen asleep, walking through their life day in, day
Oh,
out?
a lot. Most people are that way.
Yes, yes. And the thing is I look at this and I'm going, this hurts like hell, but thank God I'm not dead. I mean,
I
walking
know.
around like
I know.
not the same thing. I'm unhappy. I don't get, and I'm thinking, oh my God,
Yeah,
it was a gift that I've been given this. And I've
right.
gone through a shitload of hurt.
Yeah.
And And but you look at this and you're thinking, thank you. I'd much rather be awake.
Mhm.
And
Yes.
then you look at this coming forward, I'm going, just do it, Chris. You know there's something you're going to have to do on the other side of it anyway. So just do it, And so
Yeah.
and today was a good day for this, I mean,
So glad you were
and I'll drive
here.
it home.
I appreciate really the way that you speak and you share because everyone related to you. Deb did too.
Wow.
I know she had to leave, but so she didn't get to say, but uh,
I'm
she
always amazed by that, but
nodded along with you too.
eventually I'll take it in. And right now it's just like, you're being so kind. Where do you have your retreat?
In Massachusetts, on a little island called Plum Island in Newburyport.
Oh, great. At least I don't have to fly there. I could drive there.
Where are you?
I'm in New York.
I'm from
Another
New
New
York.
Yorker.
Julie's a New
I'm
Yorker too, and so am I.
Yes.
in New York.
Well, Julie,
Well, I'm in Texas, but I'm a New Yorker.
yeah, I'm a Long Island girl.
I'm a
Oh,
Staten
She's
Island
in New
girl.
England.
I'm an hour north of New York City.
Where?
Yay!
Um, well, they're all small little possessed towns. They're Central Valley, Highland. If you ever hear about Woodbury Commons, it's an outlet store.
Oh, I used to know somebody who lived right around there.
I'm an hour from the throughway exit.
Yes.
I mean,
So you're like off the New York State Thruway?
yep,
Yeah. I
Oh
know
my
yeah,
where
God.
you are. Yeah. I know
yeah.
where you are.
If you've heard of
I love
Poughkeepsie,
that
that's like
area.
another
Oh,
45 minutes away from me.
my daughter went to
North.
Marist, which is in Poughkeepsie.
Really? Yeah. It takes about 45 minutes from here to
Yeah.
go north to get to there. So
Okay.
that's how close I am to the city. We're right on the border of like Jersey almost.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah, I know where you are. Yeah.
Christine,
Yeah. Yeah, it's doable. We could drive and meet someplace.
we could. We could.
That would be great. That would be
Right.
great.
I'm
We'll
gonna
have to.
shuffle and pick for Julie while we're talking about this, but this
Oh,
is great.
good. Yes,
This is
yes.
3 New Yorkers. We're like the little holy trinity here.
Right?
Julie, we're in New York.
Huh,
Julie, we're in
me?
New York. Where were
I
you?
I grew up in Staten Island.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
She's
Wow.
really in it. Julie, do you have a
We're in
question?
Texas.
No, I just want to see what the universe has to say for me today.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Oh, you and Julie are united today. Christine and Julie, you're united because Julie, you also got the ever unfolding rose. Very powerful.
Uh-huh.
And then you also got deep replenishment.
Hmm.
Ooh.
Yeah. So I love this because every time, every time you're working on yourself and you're growing, we we get so excited about the journey of the work that we're doing that we don't take the breaks. And when you take the break, you actually grow a lot.
Mm-hmm.
It just always reminds me of, I don't know if when you were little, I would say to my mom at night, my legs hurt, my legs hurt. And she would just,
Yes.
you have
Growing
growing pains,
pains.
you have growing pains, right? And then you
Yes.
go to sleep, right? And then you wake up the next morning. And it's kind of like we need that time, the sleep time, the quiet time to process the growing pains and to do the growth. And even just not working for a day, then when you return to work, you have like a new idea where you feel
Mhm.
refreshed, all
Yes.
the things. And Julie, you have a really strong mind,
I know.
really strong mind. And it's hard to keep constantly trying to like quiet the mind to make the room.
Yeah, I gotta keep telling it, shut
I,
up, leave me alone.
I, yeah. So like one of the things that can actually really help that is just doing something very fun and spontaneous and silly. It's just like
Yes.
a relief on the mind, you
Yeah.
know? So like I know you're practicing sitting with your soul, sitting in the power, which is another way, but sometimes we just have to be human. One of my first teachers said to me, Kim, sometimes you just got to get on the kitchen floor and scrub the kitchen floor. Like just do human work. Get out of the,
Mm-hmm.
you know? And that can be replenishing because it just shifts us away from this constant curiosity,
Mm-hmm.
looking, creating all the things. So it's a beautiful, gentle reminder of as you're this ever unfolding rose, like this deep soul growth that you have entered into right now, you have to balance it with some replenishment. And I'm hoping on the retreat that you will feel that we're gonna work hard, but we're also gonna replenish hard too. But just reminding yourselves. So even you, Christine, like as you post that first video, then just taking that breath, right?
Yeah.
And just allowing that because I think it's almost like a trait of an entrepreneur to feel like you have to go, 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 and feel
Mhm.
bad if you're not. And if we thought of the replenishment as an integral part of the business, then when
Yes.
would you look at it? Maybe different, you know? For your intuitive development, the replenishment is integral to the development, you know? So thinking about just thinking about that for yourself, Julie,
Mm-hmm.
part of your beautiful journey, um, and working. Because when you're practicing, I can just even feel you working so hard and reaching. And I feel like even in that, like relaxing in to be more receptive to
Mm-hmm.
receiving, I think will help. Um, because I think somewhere you were taught or you believed like there's this really hard process of getting there and getting connected and getting information, instead of it just being really kind of seamless and simple. So we're going to work on that now that I'm like actually thinking about that in terms of
You
you.
know what I think it is actually? I think it's the work ethic of the ego bleeding over into my
Yeah,
spirit development. It's just bleeding over into it.
yeah, yeah. And
And if,
like you
yeah,
can't take Julie out of Julie's development, right? Like
right.
part of us comes along for the ride, so to speak.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. And I did that a lot too. I was like, what's the process? What's the technique? Am I doing it right?
Right. Right.
Like, I would be doing that as I was trying to connect, which is actually just static interference,
Yes.
you know? Yeah. hmm Yeah. So,
Interesting.
um, yeah, a little light bulb just went off for me. So we're gonna work on this. We'll take it into the practicing and but it's beautiful. And I'm also like just noticing the moon in this card. And Christine, I don't know a lot about like human design and energy and astrology, but a human design expert just told me that like we're shifting astrologically, the energy is going a little bit into an energy of doubt, which is great.
Yes. Yeah.
I'm like, oh, we don't need that. Um, and maybe just the awareness of we're going into that will help us all with any doubt that kind of starts surfacing and second guessing and all of that. So I don't know, I just feel called to remind you of that when I notice the moon of,
I think that
oh,
having opened up more and not being so closed off, I'm
yeah,
very in tune with the rise and fall of like the moon and, well, what is it? The 27th, all the planets are lining up,
yeah,
and the energy pull and take, that
yes,
kind of thing. And
yes,
it's hard to decipher, but knowing it sometimes, it just saying, okay, that's out there, power through it or just embrace it or bathe in it kind of deal and not own it.
yeah,
Um, I think it helps a great deal.
it does. It does. I think the awareness just helps us deal with whatever that energy is.
Yes,
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. And you do feel it, even if you don't
for-
know that you're feeling it.
Hmm.
right.
I had someone call me yesterday and she's like, I don't know what is the matter with me. Like, I'm down. I have no reason to be. And
Hmm.
I feel like she's feeling the energy because she's
Yes.
highly sensitive, you know? And when I told her, oh, someone just told me we're going into an energy of doubt, she's like, oh my God, that makes so much sense for me, you know?
Well,
So
they're saying all the solar flares that we're getting, it's changing the earth. The
mm,
earth
Hmm.
is vibrating different. And
mm,
so, and so many people, I think, are so off the wall right now is because they're scared. And if they never been awakened, and
mhm,
now all of a sudden having this different energy, you
yeah,
almost have compassion
right.
for the insanity of
Hmm.
just saying, as somebody said, it's a patriarchal society and they're clawing it, trying to keep it from changing, but they can't. I mean, it's out of all of our hands.
Yeah,
We're stepping into something new, which is a lot better because I've seen pieces of it. And it's just but there's so much hatred. And I
yeah,
think
Oh.
if you can look at the fact that they're coming from a fear base,
yeah,
Hmm.
absolutely blind, um,
Yes.
that I have nothing but compassion for them.
right. I agree.
The
That's
hatred I'm not
Absolutely.
too nuts on. I'm having a hard time embracing that,
yeah,
but hopefully that's why we're all needed more than we ever did before. I mean, I think that's what's put the fire under all of us
yeah,
is realizing that we have to make a stand. We have to do whatever it is that is in our power to
yes.
do,
Mhm.
to help in as many ways as possible. So I don't
Yeah,
know.
agreed. Agreed. Yeah.
Now, your course is 6 months,
4 months.
4 months. Okay. So the end of June. So you're talking July, August,
But I'm
September.
Yeah, because the retreat, we like to do it off season. It's very cost effective to do that on the beach. So we were thinking, the woman that does the Airbnb, at like end of October to
Ah,
beginning November would be really good for the retreat part of it. Um,
perfect.
yeah. And I just feel like in the summer months, like right now we're going every single week, like we're meeting every single week, but I kind of want to allow for, you know, it's maybe a week off at summertime, like so it might take a little longer than the 4 months.
I,
Um, if that, yeah.
yeah,
So that's just how I'm feeling it will need to be.
yeah.
Um, yeah. So
Summer takes a whole nother
it
flavor
does.
when you consider kids are home and
Yeah.
people want to go on vacation and,
Mhm.
yeah,
Exactly. So I kind of want to allow for that a little bit. And I do a lot of bonus sessions with different experts, and everything's recorded. So some of those I'll use as like filling in, like, oh, Christine's away this week. We're going to have this expert come in. We're going to do this, and you're not going to miss like the teaching of the program, but
right.
and do it that way. So,
Yeah, I'm going away the end of August and the beginning of September
oh,
with my
no.
kids. We're
Ooh.
going to Portugal.
Oh,
I
wow.
want to go to Portugal so badly, and we're going to my nephew's getting married in Spain in October. So like that's a week I'm just not going to be able to do it. And my husband and I are like, should we tag on Portugal to that?
No, my kids for my 70th birthday, they took
Oh,
me to Italy
oh my
and we
God.
spent
Oh,
10
wow.
days in Italy and it was absolutely life-changing. And
Mhm.
so I said, well, that was once in a lifetime. And the girls are going, that's the place. And I'm like
Yeah,
going, okay. So
yeah,
I need to get some money together but they want me to go. And that's
beautiful.
their
Yeah.
comment is that they they were raised by a single mom. Their father passed away when they were young, and it was just the three of us. And they made the comment when they gave me the one for Italy. They said, "This makes up for all the times that all you got was a card from us for Christmas and your birthday and all the other kind because we didn't have any money."
Yeah,
But they
Oh,
were like 9 and 10. Come on, we're they they they
yeah.
they know I'm not getting any younger and they want to take me with them. And I'm just trying my best to get my health up there so that I can do it.
Yeah. Beautiful. Oh my gosh. I'm happy for you.
But now I won't miss any. I just have to figure out the finances so I can make it happen.
Um,
wow.
we'll work it all out, Christine, if you want to talk to me about it, but I'm here to support you either way. You know
I
that.
know. I
Yeah.
know. When
Yeah.
I was having my meltdown, you were the person I called.
Aw.
I thought I was losing my mind. I was what it's a roadblock. It was one of those things where I didn't want to do YouTube and I didn't know my message. And I really wanted somebody to confirm whether or not I was insane before I made it public and they put me in an institution. So
So like if
um
she does it and people say she's insane, she's gonna be like, well, Kim Conway told me I wasn't.
I know. I got verification. I'm
You just
okay,
go on YouTube like, well, Kim Conway.
And then I called Danny to prove that you were okay. And said, hey, does that make sense? And she goes, yeah, okay. So you confirmed to her. I mean, I went across the board of just like going,
Oh, you,
they'll tell me if they see a little bit of hint of insanity there before I go
yeah,
and make it public.
no,
But
insanity. That's the
yeah,
best thing. I worked in a psych hospital. I actually am qualified to figure that
yes, you would know better than anybody. Yes.
out. So
And you'll be able to
intuitively, you
tell me,
know who to call.
yes, yes. And you're the one that I'm hoping to pull on the on the YouTube when I log. And if you see me, starting to go south in the head, you'll be the first to tell me, Chris, I think it's time. You're
Well,
getting
you'll have to send
senile.
both Julie and I your link when you post it, okay?
I
Yes.
will. I
Yeah,
will. I'll give it to
absolutely.
you.
Yeah. And
And yes, and Julie, I'd really love to know that you're there too.
yeah.
Yes.
Are you guys
Yeah.
connected on Facebook? You should friend each other on
I
I'm
don't
like a
know. I
matchmaker.
know
First time I
Oh,
met her,
no, you didn't. I'm in Jamie's group.
I don't remember. No,
Yeah.
well, I'll come
I
on.
come often to her you know, to her a
You in the
5K
mastermind?
club. I'm in the 5K club. I'm in, the original group, Get Visible, you know.
I did the original stuff. Haven't been part of the 5K, but I'm in the mastermind.
Oh, okay. Well, the 5K was the what was the old
Go
one?
live, go live.
Go live.
Yes,
Yeah.
I was part of that part through the
Yeah,
summer.
that's
I did all of her courses
yes.
in 3 months.
Oh, yeah,
Yes.
so you can
Insanity.
find each other pretty easily then.
Yeah.
If you can't,
Yeah,
let me know and I'll connect you on Messenger or something.
sounds great. Sounds
Okay.
really good. I
Ladies,
should
thank
let you
you for
go.
your time today. Thank
Oh,
you.
it's a pleasure. I just enjoyed it so much.
I really appreciate it, and I appreciate you both. I'm glad to know it. And the three New Yorkers, this is hysterical to me.
Thank you for the reading. I appreciate that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. When you see my picture when we're on Zooms together, you can be reminded
Yes.
of your card.
Well, I have been looking at it since I first met you. So every time you were talking, I'm always looking at that picture. It's extremely powerful.
I was obsessed. I was like, this picture has to be in my Zoom screen. And then last Christmas, not this past one, my parents gave it to me for Christmas.
Oh,
I was like so happy. I was like,
oh, gosh.
Nina, I've manifested so hard. Nobody buys that painting, even though I really want people to buy your artwork. I just wanted that one for me.
Oh my God. I
Yeah.
love it. If she
I
has
love
other artwork like that, you should turn us all onto it because
Oh,
that
yeah.
is beautiful.
Her artwork is amazing. It's all about like the female, like the 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 traumas of motherhood, the love of motherhood, how we can get so spent, right? And
Yes.
she also single mom and really had a hard time. And it's just she's on this like thing. Like her artwork has changed over the years, and right now it's all like the female body and the emotion.
Please give us a link to her work.
Oh, I'll send you her little website. Yeah.
Oh, that'd be great. I would
Yeah.
love to see her stuff.
Yeah. It's all over my house. I love it. Love it.
Well, this was wonderful.
Yeah,
I
it
feel
was.
really
Had a
good.
nice afternoon. Thank you, ladies. Thank you both.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank
I'll
you
be
too.
talking to you, Kim. I'm
All
going
right.
to set up an appointment.
Okay.
All
Okay.
right.
Lots of
Take
love to you
care.
both.
Bye.
Bye.